I'd imagine he had probably some choice words for Sentinels to say, hey, we need to pick this guy up because he really is a priority and an asset for any team.
Seeing Autumn putting GOAT makes sense that, okay, I see where this guy is coming from. I see the potential that Carpe could bring now into a roster.
If this actually feeds into the upcoming echelons, the higher ups of Valorant, I personally believe it should not be allowed that pro players participate. Sentinels is stacking up their staff and bringing in fresh new rosters here and there, which brings us DrewSpark. And if I remember correctly, Tanner, this man has already been on the side of nobody else than Psycho himself for a good long time.
Yeah, and has good history in esports. I think he came directly over from XSET R6 to XSET Valorant. So I think we've seen players who have come from, different sides of the esports scene that isn't necessarily a tactical shooter, and one that you that's Rainbow Six for you. It just brings a good mind to what isn't just a tactical shooter. So I think he brought a lot to that XSET team, and he gets to work alongside Psycho. I'd imagine he had probably some choice words for Sentinels to say, hey, we need to pick this guy up because he really is a priority and an asset for any team.
Yeah. I think on top of that, he brought in a lot for XSET in Valorant, right? That was one of those moments where outside of them bombing out of the main stage, they were always the team that was always get like 4th place. But, I think he's very similar to Mike's HD, where a lot of people give credit, for example, to, if you're looking at Sentinels now, Kaplan and Dawn, because of everything that they've done with XSET and Ghost in the past. But then everybody just forgets about how crucial DrewSpark has been. So super happy to see him join this team. Another one of those great moves from an organization that wants to put a lot into their coaching staff to see the evolution of their team getting better and better. And on top of that, Sentinels has a fucking all-star roster now.
Yeah, perfectly said. I mean, I talked to him a little bit. I wish I could have. I was talking to him during our first segment, so I can't even read through it all. Still looking forward to. That's all I can say. If very good coach. I had this last week where we talked about good coaching staff can make the big difference. I'll stick to it. I'll stick to exactly that. Say we can take a look, though, at the video that he himself posted about his joining of Sentinels.
What's good, guys? I'm super excited to announce that I'll be pulling on the red jersey and joining the Sentinels Valorant team as their analyst for the VCT Partnership League. For those of you who don't have a Scooby-Doo who I am, my name is DrewSpark. I hail from Scotland. Experience within esports, and 3 years of that I've spent at the top flight across multiple esports, multiple LAN events, and multiple world championships. Last year I was with XSET, working alongside Psycho as his assistant coach, and of course Def and Zescht, who I'll be able to rejoin this year. I'll also be able to work with some new teammates in Sassy, Pancada, Tens, and Sick. And additionally, I'll get to work with Kaplan, who is a man that I respect very highly. He's got a fantastic brain for the game, and I believe that between us 3 coaching staff, we'll be able to cover all the bases to bring Sentinels back to that juggernaut status. I truly believe that the sky is the limit with this roster. It's just time to prove it, so let's get to work.
Right. I mean, you have to see it like this, gentlemen. And Mitch is going to be particularly happy. So before even a man of Ireland has any impact on the Valorant scene, a guy from Scotland has it. If that doesn't sting, then I don't know. If that doesn't sting, then I don't know. Right. I mean, moving forward from that, it was nice to hear his words about it. Let's take a look at Carpe, I would say. Let's take a look at our next one, because you know what we discussed with Paperfin? Who's going to be the 5th? Who's going to be the one that T1 is grabbing? Who's going to be the one that's filling the final slot? Well, there has been something very, very interesting. Look at that. And you know what? I don't know much about Overwatch, but I heard you guys. Who of you is better with Overwatch? Who of you knows Overwatch better?
Genji, Echo, Doomfist.
Sounds like Tanner Metro knows more than me, so he's going to have the opinion on it. Go ahead, Tanner.
I'm already tracing.
I don't, unfortunately. But somebody the other day was in my chat telling me about this and that they had heard this rumor. And when I had asked, they're basically just like, this guy is cracked. Like, this guy is one of the best Overwatch players. And again, just like we said about DrewSpark, having a mind for the outside world of esports, he's already got Valorant teabag down. Like that right there. I mean, precise, absolutely precise. But we've seen players already shine from other games. And this guy, Ian, was actually pointing out, right? Producers in the back saying he plays hit scan. So this guy can point and click. And I mean, all these Widow clips.
Isn't that Riot Scan Central?
That's the interesting part. He's a hit scan player. He's a great player. I mean, he's got an MVP, I think, in Overwatch League Season 1 or whatnot. So seeing Autumn putting GOAT into his tweet makes sense that, okay, I see where this guy's coming from. I see the potential that Carpe could bring now into a roster. But at the same time, if he's going to be a hit scan player from Overwatch League going into Valorant, going into T1, remember like maybe early 2020, similar, who was really good at Overwatch, came over and suddenly was small Saya player, and Saya players also gone back to that roster too. So I think now for Korea, it's one of those ingredients, is, and it's always going to be like a cracked out play, an insane jet, but then you just have how that's throughout the roster. This is, though, you're playing with a full Korean staff. I think they will be able to get a player like Carpe to get the best out, his potential in a roster, and not for, I love you, Sam, but it's not going to be or split like a minute and 15 seconds,
Right. I have no idea, so I'm just going to say absolutely right. Thank you very much for that insight. And this brings us to something.
Your cough?
It brings
okay,
us
I got it. Yeah.
Listen, can we very quickly go full screen on, please?
There.
Yes, I had to. Before any of you fuckers say it. Yes, exactly. Either way.
Better
to work with a freaking boomer, man.
Make sure to subscribe to Valoranting because they ask some pretty good questions, so you don't want to miss out on the answers.
So, Bala has
that's
been...
me.
Yeah, I know. I can very much imagine. If we go through this article real quick, what I hope the tournament mode gets right, and I don't know if we have further screenshots of all the points he has. If we don't, that's no big deal. We don't need to keep on scrolling. We scroll. I love this production. Did I ever say that? He talked about various things, and I want to stop at independent ranking. And you know what? I'm throwing production under the bus. Stop. A little up. All right. Yeah. Thank you. I'm throwing the production under the bus here. Because you guys remember we did a whiteboard, right?
Yeah.
Good. So now we go from point to point for every single one of those points of Bala and look more closely at it. What do you think about that, gentlemen? What do you think about that idea? Just
I'm down.
randomly thrown.
Yeah, sure.
I'm down to give it a shot. I love trying things live.
Yeah. Production. Can we directly swap to the screen of the I love that's us, but it doesn't matter. It's all good. They got it fixed. I know this production guy always. Who's creating this big note? Who's creating
not
this?
Me. That's Vansilli.
Please don't do what I think you're going to do. Right. This is Vansilli. Okay. You know what? Why do you have to make it that? Why can you not? I swear. Can you please make it smaller?
This really will be a 4-hour show.
Can you make it Vansilli? No, not the font. The note. The note, Vansilli. Please. You're capable at your 55 years of age. You're capable to understand a new game on your phone, but you don't work the UI of a simple software on your PC.
I'm just letting chat being able to read, man. I'm thinking about everybody
Vansilli
else.
Is note.
We could have never guessed that's you. Either way, I want to start with independent ranking because I have an idea. This exists in local regional leagues in CS. What would you guys think about a calibration cup? What is a calibration cup, you ask? Hey, guys, I got you. So imagine, doesn't matter how many teams sign up, but let's imagine there's always cups of 256. And there's going to be a best of one format. I know it sucks, but a best of one format. And, this helps you getting seeded in different divisions. So imagine we have very good writing. Imagine let's say we have 7 different divisions, okay? We have 7 different divisions, and if you win that calibration cup, you might end up in the best division, and if you get, I don't know, 4th to 8th, you end up in the 2nd division, and so on.
Let me
and so
actually
on.
use the text here because you can.
I love you, Vansilli.
Right?
Right. What do you think about that idea? To have calibration cups early on, because I'm worried that imagine there's an amazing premier team, and there's just like us fuckers sitting together and playing the game. Right? We should not be in the same division.
True.
Right?
Okay, so but All right, I'm gonna toss this out early because I think people are expecting this to be too big picture, right? Like this isn't just for the. I don't think. I'm not certain. I don't think that this is just for the Radiant player that wants to go further beyond, like
Yeah.
Goku going Super Saiyan 3. I
Yeah.
think this is directly for the audience to be able to get a nice competitive feel, and that audience is anywhere between Iron and Radiant. So I
Okay.
think that
Yeah.
this is going to relate more directly towards League of Legends Clash system, but maybe have higher stakes
Mhm.
and not so much like the VRCs into, the VRLs and stuff like that. Like
Right.
I feel this to me is going to be more serious for fun type tournament system.
More
Right,
serious for fun.
Yes, it's more
Okay.
serious than just 5 stacking ranked because there's rewards, but I think at the end of the day it's going to be like a for fun thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Can we maybe
This is so good.
I've added something to our production channel, and maybe our production can show that, because I think you're wrong. I hate to say that.
For
but I
no,
think
for
you're
sure.
wrong, Tanner. Because I believe, you guys can read English better than me, but this pyramid that we're about to show any second soon, we got time.
Yeah,
Take your
especially
time.
when
I
you
know
call it a
I've-
pyramid.
what is it? What is it? Isn't it a pyramid?
A pyramid.
A pyramid. A pyramid. Yes, of course. My bad. My bad.
Same
Absolutely.
thing.
My bad.
I need to be in the middle between these two so I can break up the fighting.
Right. I think I'm fine. I can directly punch Vansilli. So if we can maybe take a look at that thing. This is an official Riot screenshot that shows how's 2023 looking like, how can you upgrade, how can you get in the next league, whatever and whatever. And so if we can show that, it is most important to see that on the bottom it says in-game competitive system. And then there's an arrow up saying challengers.
Mhm.
Tell me whatever you want, but an in-game competitive system could be that, couldn't it?
Yes, I like this idea because I think from what we're currently doing with Premiere, or what we're trying out with Premiere and testing out in Brazil, kind of like falls into this as well. Because technically, last year during the VCTs, anybody could make a team. If you sign up on time, you're part of challengers. Boom,
Right.
good luck, you're grinding through it. Now the good news now is with the in-game competitive system, it's that layer before that. So that anybody that wants to play as a team for friends and see how they're doing in a clash system, then they could see how they match up and how they could fare up in tournament play, and how and how good they could actually be in that team environment instead of having to play against ranked players or with ranked players, right?
Mhm.
If you're going to try to take this a little more serious and with the extra step, then that at least is going to be like a 5-player team that wants to try to see how far they could actually go. So it's not just going to be like a weekend game. It's like we're aspiring to actually make it into challengers into the next step. And that could be the entry level there. And that's going to be a lot more easily manageable. And it doesn't have to be a lot like everybody just rushing through to sign up to like Nursery Gamers and make sure they get one of the 256 spots. Right. And I think that's why it makes sense that you have calibration cups, because to what Bala was mentioning before too, it's nice that you have a team ranking for MMR rather than just individual MMR, so that it doesn't offset the skill gap there.
Exactly. This is very well said, because also what Ballas is an article, and we can hopefully directly back over to that, is that he mentions that the matter of fact is that a ranked player who's Radiant doesn't necessarily have to do anything with the actual skill of that. So I think Bala has a really, really good point there, and maybe
because he uses me as an example. He's like, yeah, Vansilli's just a diamond player, but he's a great player, so I'll take that. Can
we show that, please? Let me
see.
Let me
when
see.
Aaron was
like,
when Aaron asked me if I was Radiant, I was like, no, I'm just diamond, but it's still pretty good in a team based setting. Thank you, thanks, Bala. I'm glad
it's a
you got my
big mistake to feed your ego, man. I don't know why Bala would have done that. I don't know why
I'm an esports broadcaster. I automatically have an ego. I'm just humble about it.
All right, fair play. Moving further, scrolling down to incentives. Going down to incentives. I think that is the most important thing. Yeah, incentives. Great. Prize money, I'm down. Skins, I'm down. Upwards mobility. Mobility sounds like a weird word. Maybe that's just me. I think that's fine. I think that's exactly what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything that's off out of that spicy takes. I think this all makes
agreed.
maybe some of the comments were talking about like how much of a prize money, right? I don't think it makes sense for like a weekend that you're gonna play and you're gonna try to win like a full 10 grand or some shit.
No, $500 maybe or something. You know? I think that's actually fair.
Shit, I'd be down for like fucking $10 worth of like Riot points to buy skins or something. It doesn't matter for me, right? Radio Night points, VP points, RP. It kind of that just works in itself in terms of categorizing that as a prize money for me, because it's gonna be difficult at that point, right? To try to do payouts. People are gonna have to put PayPal's or bank accounts and stuff like that too. It's just not
internationally.
Exactly.
It's gonna be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
Good. I think there's something really to add. If we move further, how to practice. Also, I think Bala actually covered a lot with that article, so I'm gonna do that. Going further in that, how to practice doesn't matter. I thought you have ego, Vansilli. How do you react to that?
I wish I was rich, but I'm not. I'll be humble in that aspect for sure.
Hey, appreciate it.
I'm available to cast, everybody. Just
is that where you post your reel on your phone and you just show it to us over camera?
Pretty much.
Right, moving further. How to practice. Perfect point. How to practice. I think Discords are horrible. I think that's the worst choice ever. I heard a lot of people in the A do it. Fuck you guys. There's this thing that we invented. Yeah, I say we because it was a German who invented it.
Nice.
Called PrecGG. If we scroll down a little bit, he shows that as well. Perfect platform because you actually get a Google Calendar integration and you can challenge on particular maps.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add, gentlemen?
No, I think that makes sense too. Back in my day was very similar to Discord.
IRC Chen.
Exactly. You know, you go in #FindScrim, 5v5, DNE, Central, East, West. Yeah, 5 kick, be ready, like that type of shit. It was really, really fast and easy to like collect everybody into that. And I think that's why, like, looking at something like Discord, I'm not always it's not that I'm not against it. I kind of like it in a fact that it almost feels immediate. They could get the responses, right? I want practice now. I want to scrim now. You could find some now. And PrecGG is just like an extra step because now I got to make an account. I got to browse through. I got to click more. Discord, I can just pop in that channel and type it. So there's pros and cons to it as well. But it'll be nice if there's a system around that for sure. Once the Premier division works out at a larger scale here for everybody.
Right. Okay. I think that's easy. The next one is going to be interesting because it's worth a discussion. Because the next one is scheduling. If we take a look at that, because that is going to be quite interesting. I have an idea for scheduling. Mm-hmm. In my eyes, also, why are you an example again?
Because we're part of a team. Bala, myself, Bren, Sideshow, Mimi, Artem. No, Artem is Bala. Sorry, Shayo. Dawn, which is Psycho, and Kaplan. We have a team that we're competing right now this season for Rendezvous, and we're fucking owning. Not on top, but we're owning.
Okay. So my idea of scheduling would be this. So either, I think the best idea would be have set dates on set days. Like set time, 8 p.m. Central European time on a Saturday. Period. You can't do that? Whatever. Your mistake. You know that is the day. You know every week that is a day. Or alternatively, everyone gets free recommendations. Every team can set up like free ideas. Okay, I want this time. The other team sets up this time, and maybe they can meet in the middle or something. You know?
Yes. Just normal.
That would be.
I think that makes sense.
Just my idea. Yeah, just like back in the day, right? But
I think that this will be. Don't play at 10 p.m. Games always go worse when it gets that late as well.
Yeah,
I think
especially when play with Tanner.
Especially when he's like, listen, dude, I was watching the flank, man. I don't know how the Sage's got the stick to the fuse, bro. There's 2 people on site. Anyways, I think this will probably be more directly related to Clash and the way that they do scheduling for League of Legends instead of, because I don't think you're going to be forced to do said team versus said team, right? I think when it comes to like the Premier League, they'll have open windows. So it'll be like, hey, games happen on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the window is from 5 to 7. So whenever you can get your 5 together, you lock in and you're going to be put in a match against another 5 in your same, team MMR that can also play from 5 to 7. So I think they'll just be like maybe a larger window, but I think it'll just be something like that. I still think that this is deep in the weeds, guys. I don't know why they would compare it to Clash if it's going to be so much more than Clash. If it's more of like Face It, ESCA type B. Like I still think, I'm going to say it here, I think that it's going to be pretty low profile, or why else would they compare it to Clash? Just because it's like an in-game tournament system.
Yeah, we're gonna see how wrong you're gonna be at the end. So
yeah, I hope I'm wrong, because that would be cool. It would be cool to see.
Yeah,
but
no,
I think it's
fair point. Fair point. Moving further, number 5, team finders. Again, I'm going to tell you a little example. If on how easy it actually is. In the VRCs that we have. Not even joking. There is a dedicated team finder. In one of the VRCs we have. So to quickly explain to you how that works, maybe I have a screenshot there for you guys ready. I'm trying to find you one. Is that there is basically the option at Project V. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I'm showing that to you guys. Did I even write this article? Is there a chance that I wrote that? No, I didn't. Is that you can basically do it like this. I'm sending it once more in our beautiful chat. I don't know why I just found it. I'm so sorry to annoy production with spontaneous screenshots I just found. You can say what rank you are, so rank X to Y, what kind of agents you play. So I play Astra, I play Omen, I play Viper, whatever. And then you can also count in your availability. I'm usually available on this day, and this and this day. And then teams can look for that. So we look for also, or I am. Right, team finder. So basically this is kind of how it is, right? So there's this one team, Immortal 1 to Radiant, this agent, availability, and you can apply.
It should be simpler than that. I think it's just fucking literally #find ringer in IRC. I think that we're trying to get to, right? So
what year is
how to
this?
implement that into a system. It's just not necessarily on, hey, I'm available on this week if you're looking for a player. Maybe it's sometimes Clash is about to start, your 4 guys or girls or just friends trying to participate, and you're like, fuck, we need a player. Go into that section in game, and there's a list of players that usually would play solo rank, matchmaking, whatever, and they're just going to put themselves available. Hey, I play these. I'm a cool person. Bring them in, and then bring them in the lobby, and then go from there. I think what we're trying to, or at least try to reach to a certain point, to my understanding, to what Ball is writing, is that you put everything within the system, within the game itself, and you don't have to go through so many platforms such as Pride.gg, such as Discord, such as Find Scrims, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be a good win, like a huge dub for the premier portion in itself, when you're going to be past the alpha phase of this, according to Evermore.
Yeah. Right. Anything from your side, Tanner?
No.
Perfect.
I still think it's. I think we're just thinking too deep. I think we're just thinking too deep. So I don't really have thoughts on like a team finder like that or something. Yeah.
Right. I think the 6 point is something we can definitely argue about. Here's my deal. If this actually feeds into the upcoming echelons, the higher ups of Valorant, I personally believe it should not be allowed that pro players participate. I think pro players should not be allowed.
I would agree to that as well. If this does, if it is kind of what the picture that you guys are painting it as, lead to the challengers, and it is kind of that pyramid. Yeah, it would make sense.
What's your
that? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Continue.
Oh, it just wouldn't make sense that the pros take away opportunities. Or I mean, like, I guess if pro teams are beating some of these good premier teams, or like good premier teams are putting up a good fight against pros, and pros are kind of treating it like scrims, then the premier team still has eyes on them. I just, without knowing how it would feed into challengers, if it does, then yeah, I think pros should be pretty hands off.
So my question back to you guys, what's the definition of a pro in this case then?
Everything who plays in a Riot associated league.
So those players will be too busy anyways to play Premier, because they have to practice within the weeks and whatnot for the tournament. So I think it's still nice to let the pros play when it's going to be one of those cups that's going to be during the off season, for example. Have something going on like that for those type of premier tournaments. That doesn't necessarily feed to the top of the
Yeah,
challengers
yeah.
or the international scene or whatever, right? So those guys are going to be busy already. It doesn't. I don't think there's going to be any type of like um ding or unfairness. I think at that point, once it gets through, I think what to Bala is what he was mentioning too in terms of the BRs. It's just fun that you're playing and grinding within like a Fortnite BR or an Apex BR, and then you have a chance to face against a pro, and then it's like, oh shit, I know what the experience is like to play against a pro. I could get stopped by a pro, and then I could actually understand a little bit more at that skill level what I need, what are the gaps, and reassess how I could improve as a player. Exactly what Aaron and Enzo were talking about earlier, to just recheck your VODs or whatnot and understand how the game is being played at that level. I think it's still pretty cool. I think in the end, as devil's advocate, is you don't want any of those players that are, let's say, Radiant, for example, to just make like Smurf accounts and start just playing into the lower levels and then inting in that sense. So there's a fine line as how you want to manage and correct that.
I still think it should not be allowed, even if they have no time. I think just by the rules, it should not be allowed. Period. But maybe that's just me. Either way,
even if they still qualify, they won't go higher. They don't have time to do that shit. That's the only thing. So if they lose, does it go to the second player?
No, but they should not, because this is obviously like they are higher than that anyway.
Yeah.
They are higher than that anyway, which means they should not participate in for any reason, for the sake of just boosting your mates. There's no other reason.
But for those other players that are like, hey, I don't play enough ranks because I don't have incentives for that, right? But at a diamond player, I still have the communication or the aim and the game sense to be able to play at that level. That's a great opportunity for me to get scouted and known as well. In that sense, if I'm playing against those pro players and I'm actually able to go head to head against them. I think it's the same example as when Zekin played his first game with Xset and realized, oh shit, I could actually play against Sentinels. I could actually frag against tens. I have what it takes to move forward.
Yeah. You know what? I think we can just simply disagree on this and move a little further. Yeah, move a little further.
Yeah.
And finally, because we're going to the last point, and we might even need to cut our greatest segment of the evening to move further.
I thought it was I thought it was the IGL one, their greatest segment of the evening.
I don't know what that
What
is.
is he talking about?
You said the greatest segment of the evening. I thought it was when we were doing the fucking breakdown of Pearl with Aaron and
that was
Enzo.
a great.
I thought first. No, yeah, that was the greatest segment of all time in my.
That was the greatest segment of all time.
That was actually the greatest segment of all time, because all of us didn't speak most of the time. I think that's the greatest part about it, to be very honest.
Damn good.
Yeah, that was cool.
Either way, final one, absolutely unpreventable. Follow. What do you mean by that? I cannot follow.
I mean, they're gonna
Can
find
anyone
out.
follow?
Yeah, like I mean, so this is a great opportunity if you're at that point to, as a content creator or as somebody who's aspiring to just be more known, right? You have now an opportunity to stream yourself in a competitive environment that is supposed to be a higher echelon than a ranked game. So now it comes down to, okay, I'm a Fade main. How do I use my utility? How do I communicate with my team? How do I rotate? This is a great opportunity to stream those matches so that you can get scouted. You get back to that point. But on the other end, it's going to get very similar to what's currently going on with the Shazams of the world that are continuously streaming. And then you'll have somebody in rank that's going to be like, oh, I'm playing against Shazam. Let me pop onto his stream. And then I'm just going to start stream sniping them, right? Because you don't want to stream with a delay, because you still want to interact with your stream no matter what. If you are trying to grow your own brand too, right? If you're not having one-on-one interactions with the fan that's calling out your name, and you might lose that viewer in the long run.
Agreed. Absolutely.
I will say, I do think streamer mode is going to be more powerful than expected, because there's going to be like an endless amount of opportunities. Because like if Team MMR is different, it's not just like a Radiant player seeing what Radiant pros are on, watching their stream and seeing if they queue into them. There's a chance that their Team MMR is good or bad, and then like I feel like you have to do more homework to kind of follow, like, okay, what's Shazam's Team MMR? Okay, is it a possibility that I'm playing, X teams with X MMR? Let me go watch their stream. So I do think that if you are queuing in just like relatively randomly, again, you have your your time brackets that you're playing. I think streamer mode, might be enough in some instances. Obviously, stream sniping can still be a problem, but I don't think it'll be really as bad as maybe until you get into like the playoffs. Then it'll really become a problem once there's only actually a handful of teams.
The only thing that I would be worried about, because you mentioned that, is obviously like things like tracker GG, where opponents already can get that out of you. You know,
Yep.
those plugins are the only ones that I'd be worried about.
True.
Because you can have streamer mode on and ranked, and the same shit still happens. So it is what it is. Gentlemen, it has been really one of the best episodes we had so far. I really enjoyed that one a lot. You guys made that perfect with the right questions and the right input. Just Tanner, actually, but no, I'm just kidding.
Alchemist is like counting with Vansilli.
Yeah.
Today's number is 18. Hi, everybody.
Elmo silly.
Today's number is 2021.
Zescht, get us out of here, man. Zescht, get us out of here, man.
Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been Valoranting. Tanner, Vansilli. Have a great evening, everyone.
And Zescht.